Hi guys, welcome to my vlog, Keith Winslet, and we're here again for another video. This time I'll do like an indoor vlogging. So my video for today is all about what is the cost of living here in Malaysia, specifically here in Penang. So that's the topic that we will discuss today. But before we start, please like this video, don't forget to subscribe, and hit the bell notification if you want to be notified for my incoming and upcoming videos. So let's start. So, what is the cost of living here in Penang, Malaysia? So just to give you an idea, it is just my first month here in Malaysia. But just to give you an idea, I will break it down in three parts. And as we all know, every time you will be relocated, it really depends. What do I mean by that? It depends on your specific status. Like in my case, I'm a married person with two kids, and they are way back in my country. So when I say three parts, we will talk about how much is the rent, the food, and your travel expenses. So those are the things that we will discuss today. Okay, so let's discuss the three parts. But what I'm going to do is I'll reverse it, meaning we will start first with the transportation, your food, and then the last one will be your rent. And I'll show it to you the sample units, just like this one that I'm staying right now, and what is the breakdown of your expenses or your budget. Because when it comes to rent, as we all know, it consists of several parts, like your electric bill, the water bill, and even if you're using like an internet, and let's say you're using also gas for your cooking. But fortunately, we're using electric here. But let's discuss first with the transport. So fortunately, here in my area, in my nature of my work, it's a 5 to 10 minutes walk. But if you're traveling, it really depends what the means of transportation. We have the commonly used here is the Grab, basically. It depends on your location, ranging from 5 ringgit to 10. So that's basically, especially here in my area. But if you are in somewhere in Georgetown, because I'm in Bayan Baru, so it's like, if you can see in the map, this is I'm located, and that's Georgetown. So technically it range, let's say if you're going to Georgetown, it will range 25 to 30 ringgit. So it depends. Unless you will use other means. And this is what I mentioned. You can also use the bus, which is the most famous here, is what we call the Rapid Penang. The Rapid Penang, it ranges like what I did in my previous videos. It cost me only 270, so 2 ringgit and 70 cents. So, but the good thing about it, there are also third means of transportation. Aside from, let's say you have your personal car, your personal motorbike, another local transportation here, which is fortunately for Malaysia, specifically here in Penang, we have what we call the cat bus, it's for free. Actually, it's really meant for tourists here in Penang. So they have certain routes wherein you can get a free ride. So that's the means of transportation. So like if I'll go back like in my like what I mentioned earlier, in my case it's free. My transportation it's very fortunate in my case because from my place here going to my work, like what I mentioned, it will only take 5 to 10 minutes walk. So imagine the money you will save. But again, what I mentioned from Grab, the Rapid Penang bus, and the CAP, it really depends on your location. But those are the estimated amounts when it comes to going places. So there you go. We talk about the transportation. Okay, so let's discuss now regarding your food. So I'll give you also the rough estimation when it comes to your food monthly, or it depends on your how you manage buying your food. So it's either on a weekly basis, monthly basis. Some they are doing on a daily basis. So when you say daily, and it's being a culture here in Malaysia, wherein people just tend to go out, go to hawker centers. So instead of cooking inside their houses, they will just go out because every unit or condo unit or buildings here, there are strategic locations of the hawker center. So same drill if you watch my other videos when I explore Penang or in Georgetown or here in Bayan Baru or in Bayan La Paz. It ranges from 5 ringgit to maximum of 10 or 15 ringgit. It depends on the food that you are ordering, plus the drinks as well. So some they're doing on a daily basis, and when I say weekly, there are cases wherein people just like us, me and my 2 housemates, we will buy basic essentials like we will buy at least 10 kilos of rice, a portion of meat, a portion of one whole chicken, and also like slices of fish, so to cook. So those kind of things that we are doing, let's say on a weekly basis. It depends also. There's a wet market and a dry market as well. And there are also strategic groceries in the area. It's easily, you can walk and go there and buy your stuff. Then the third one that I mentioned is on a monthly basis. Same drill, if you want to buy rice, instead of 10 kilos, you can buy, let's say, 20 kilos of that. So just to compensate your monthly allowance when it comes to your food. Same goes with your chicken, your meat, and your fish, and even your veggies. So when it comes to the budget, how much? Like me as an individual, if let's say I decided just to cook here or eat here, the most, and based on my 1 month experience, when it comes to analyzing, going to the grocery, and some of my housemates, every time he or they bought something, 100 ringgit is already sufficient, which is, it's true. it depends on the currency of your money way back your country. Like in my case, I'm in the Philippines. So yes, I will say 100 ringgit is very, I can, uh, I can really say that it's sufficient and it's enough to budget even for 3 person. So that's why it's better to cook at home, because one, uh, you can properly prepare it, and you have the you know you have the time to make sure it is cooked properly. But I'm not saying hawker centers, they're really good when it comes to preparing your food, because they're not fast food. That's the So at least I gave you that idea what are, when it comes to the food, your budget is. And that's why here in Penang, anywhere is very accessible. Okay, so last but not the least, your rent. Like what I mentioned, there are also parts when it comes to your rent. So that consists of your the actual rent itself, your electric bill, and the other amenities. When it comes to other amenities, when I mentioned, if you want to put up an internet, you want to put up a cable, and those kind of stuffs. But in our case here, along with my 2 housemates, we only put up an internet, because we rarely watch, movies or TV shows in our living room. So for the rent, so this is how it works. And I will break it down, or I will mention just my specific budget. When I say specific budget, it means just me as an individual. So how much renting this kind of place? You saw the video montage. I showed to you the actual unit, especially here in Penang, Malaysia. So in this specific condo unit I'm residing, monthly, but it depends with the other condo units near the place. It ranging from 1,800 ringgit to 2,200 ringgit max. But here in our case, it only range 1,850 to 1,900. But like what I mentioned, I'll be specific just to my expenses only, or what's my rent contribution. So in my case, it's, and you will be surprised, it's 680 ringgit. Yes, 680. So try to calculate that. If I will calculate it in my own currency in the Philippines, that's equivalent to 8,160 pesos. So if I'm not mistaken, because it depends on the running currency, but I base it into, let's say, for every 100 ringgit or every 1 ringgit, it's 12 pesos. So ranging from 8,160 to be exact. So again, like what I mentioned, it already consists of your rent, inclusive of the electric bill, with your water bill, and same goes with your internet connection. And again, this kind of unit, it has 3, I will not say a regular room, but it's a huge room. And this is not yet the master's bedroom. I'm not occupying the masters. So it's 680 ringgit. Initially, before I went to Malaysia, I was really quite anxious and not really scared, but like a big question mark in my head, like wondering what? When my housemate mentioned to me that, okay, this is the total amount that you will pay monthly, that's all in, and I said, okay, 680. Back of my mind, it's like, what? That's it? So until such point, I already came here and gave my my contribution. And also, just to add it up, it's same process here if you decided to look for a place. But fortunately, in our case, we didn't pay anymore the agent fee. Just for the agent will look for you for a place. So, but one thing for sure, they have also this kind of procedure when renting a specific unit. It depends. They have like a 1 month deposit, 1 month advance. There are some owners of the condo units, 2 months advance, 1 month deposit. So it really depends. It really depends. But luckily, in this unit, I only paid the 1 month advance and the 1 month deposit. So it's really convenient. But monthly, and I'm being honest, it's 680 ringgit. So imagine that. That's it. And you saw the place. And even this specific room of mine, it's really huge. It can fit even my whole family, my 2 kids and my wife. So, but then again, really range. It depends on the condo unit that you're trying to rent here in Penang, Malaysia. Because the reason why I tend to compare before I went here is because when I worked before in Singapore, and that's not a condo unit. It's just like they call it HBD, or it's like a government housing, but it's very decent, nice unit. But maybe the only difference is that when I worked in Singapore before, the place that I'm renting, it's a shared room. Yes, it's a shared room. And how much does it cost? I really don't know. I'll give a rough estimation. It range 1,300 to 1,400 ringgit. It's also all in, but to calculate that in my own currency, that's like 15,000 pesos. And take note, it doesn't include yet your food. It doesn't include yet your transport. So, and I remember if I go to work way back when I was in Singapore, it will take me 45 to an hour because I will ride a bus, a subway, then another bus. So imagine here, it's just a 5 to 10 minute walk. So there you have it. Forgive me if I'm not being specific because I haven't seen the initial bill, but I was informed by my housemate who is already here way back almost a year now that in my case, in my other housemate, it will only cost you 680 ringgit. So for some, they might say it's quite still expensive or it's very affordable, but seeing this kind of unit in peso, 8,160 to be exact, if I'll compare it in the Philippines, it's not. I don't know the range of the unit there. Let's say a 3 big room with this kind of living room, and you saw the kitchen, and we have a terrace or a balcony. 1,800. It's like what, 22,000 or 22,000 to 23,000 pesos. In the Philippines, a 3 big room and this kind of living room with the kitchen and a storage and even the bathroom. Oh, take note, the master's bedroom, it has its own bath. So I don't think so. The amount there is totally different, and that's why when I went here, I was initially surprised, and for the first time when I saw the room, and I said it's really big. And again, it's my own. So there you have it. So that's the at least I gave you an idea of the cost of living here in Penang, Malaysia. So, but it boils down, it depends on your lifestyle. Because if you always eat outside, spend a lot of unnecessary things, well, the budget that you are, let's say, paying in your rent, your food, or your transport, for sure it will not be sufficient. But overall, if I will base it in my own budget, and since fortunately my place going to work is just a 5 to 10 minute walk, it saves me when it comes to the transportation. So the only thing I need to do, if let's say if I during my spare time, I'll just roam or stroll around the place. So that's where it depends on the budget I will spend. But overall, the cost of living here in Penang, Malaysia, but I don't know with Kuala Lumpur, but here I can say it's very livable and very convenient. Consider me as an OFW from the Philippines. It's a very nice place, conducive, safety, and you will also see in the video wherein the amenities of this specific condo unit or this building. You saw the pool, the gym, there's a little spa, and if you want to do an event, let's say held a party downstairs, you can cook barbecue as well. So, and one thing, the reason why I like it here is this one. Before you enter the premises, the building, it has securities and it's a face recognition. So imagine the technology, it avoids what we call the tailgating. So there you have it. So I hope you learned something about this video based on my experience when it comes to your budget for your food, your transport, your rent. But hey, it still depends on you. And this video, at least, it gives you an overview or a glimpse on what is the cost of living here in Penang, Malaysia. So without further ado, just if you want to make a comment, put a comment and tell me or share your experience. If it's totally the same just like mine or totally different, comment down below. Okay? So thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed this video. And always remember, eat, vlog, sleep, and repeat. Terima kasih. Have a great day.